To delve deeper into this critical issue of cross-border terrorism and its far-reaching implications, we are joined by a highly respected voice in the field of defense and national security, retired Major General Dhruv Katoch. He brings with him an extraordinary wealth of experience in sub-conventional conflict. He has led crucial counter-insurgency operations in Jammu and Kashmir, the Northeast, and served as part of the Indian peacekeeping force in Sri Lanka. A decorated veteran, and he was awarded the Sena Medal for his exemplary leadership during an active combat on the line of control. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Sir, how do you assess the recent terror attack in Pahalgam, where innocent tourists were brutally targeted after ascertaining their identity? What message does such an attack convey?
In my view, this is the worst terror attack which has taken place in India. I would go as far back as to say since independence. It is even worse than the Mumbai attack of 26/11. And there are two reasons for that. The first is when we are looking at Mumbai, it was a dastardly attack. Hundreds of people lost their lives and it lasted 3 days. It was something which was unacceptable, and we should have actually gone to war on that attack alone. We didn't. That attack was designed by Pakistan to bleed India's economy. It was aimed at the heart of India. This attack is much smaller in scale, I agree. It lasted for half an hour, maybe less. And we lost in this 26 people. An equal number or more were wounded in this. But why do I say this is worse? Because this aimed at the very soul of India. It aimed at Sanatan. It was designed to destroy India's spirit. And that's why I consider this more dastardly and something which has to be retaliated to with such great force and with such great vehemence that Pakistan will never consider doing such a thing again.
Sir, in your view, what explains this disturbing shift in terror strategy from targeting security forces to attacking unarmed tourists, especially when Kashmir's tourism sector has been showing signs of revival after the abrogation of Article 370?
You see, I think one thing which Pakistan has realized that the more Kashmir became normalized, the more it started going into the path of development, the worse it was getting for Pakistan. Their narrative had finished. It was all but dead. And every passing day was driving one additional nail into that coffin of Pakistan's narrative. So they had to do something drastic. And while most of us had anticipated that there will be a terror attack, especially because the Vice President Vance of the United States was visiting India, and every time when a senior leader, especially from the United States, visits India, whether it's their president or the vice president, the Pakistanis like to conjure up something. It has been consistent. So when we look at all this, we find that the Pakistani imprint is there. We know the time was selected to coincide with the visit of Vice President Vance, and we also know that they were losing the power of their narrative.
India recently announced the suspension of Indus Water Treaty. From a strategic standpoint, what message does this send to Pakistan?
There were 5 messages which were sent as the defense, as the foreign secretary enunciated. And these 5 points can actually be coalesced into or condensed into 3. One was a message as far as the IWT, the Indus Water Treaty, was concerned. And the Prime Minister time and again made the statement, blood and water cannot flow together. And it was a message to Pakistan that as far as the Indus Water Treaty is concerned, when it was signed in 1960, we gave you 80% of the water. And now the time has come to review that treaty. And as these signals were given earlier when Balakot, when the Pulwama attack took place, when they attacked one of our posts and we had to carry out a surgical strike. So we have all the time been telling them that, listen, blood and water cannot flow together. But this time I think finally the Prime Minister said, no, enough is enough. And in the opinion of many people, especially the intellectual circle within India, they all thought that this cannot be done till it was done. And now that it is done, people are saying, okay, it can be done. It is something like the revocation of Article 370. Ultimately, the nation has to display a certain sort of will to say it means business, and India has displayed that will as far as the IWT is concerned, and we have made it conditional. Actually, it has not been abrogated. We have simply said it has been held in abeyance till such time as Pakistan ceases terror activity on India's soil. If they don't, it will stay in abeyance, and that will be a permanent structure. The second aspect, and which I have been advocating also for a very long time, was we don't need to have any contact at all with a rogue terrorist state. So while the contact was already limited, it has been further shortened, and the certain facilities which people were getting as far as visas, etc. are concerned, they are over, and at the Atari border, that has been closed. I think that, in my personal view, that is a very positive step. And the third is a diplomatic one, where the military observers of Pakistan from the Army, Navy and the Air Force have been told to pack up the bags and leave India within 7 days. And we have also recalled our armed forces personnel from Islamabad.
Sir, recently during an address, Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir reiterated the two-nation theory, emphasizing irreconcilable differences between Hindus and Muslims. In light of the Pahalgam terror attack, how do you view Pakistan's continued reliance on such an outdated and divisive ideology, especially when it seems to embolden extremist elements rather than contribute to peace?
Not only India, I think the whole world is surprised that he could actually make a statement like that. Now, we all understand that Pakistan is a vitriolic, radicalized country, and that process started from Ziaul Haq's time. Not that it wasn't present earlier, but from Ziaul Haq's time it became very vitriolic. And even the armed forces got radicalized, and I presume Munir is one of those people who were radicalized at a younger age. Now, their school children are being taught to hate Hindus. And now this man has gone and made a vitriolic speech of such an extent that I believe this is one of the contributing factors which led to the dastardly attack in Pahalgam 2 days back. The only way I can look at it is that Munir is a terrorist. He is a Pakistani terrorist, and he could be equated, in a sense, with Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden carried out terrorist activities from his headquarters in various caves in Afghanistan and later in a bungalow in Pakistan. Whereas Munir is carrying it out at the behest or heading the Pakistan army from his palace in Pakistan. That is the only difference I can think of, but he is a terrorist, and I think the world should designate this man as a wanted terrorist. If that can be done, it'll end to a very large extent this very spectre of terrorism which continues to emanate time and time again from Pakistan.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, sir.
Thank you so much.